Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. You join me down at the storage yard on a very autumn rainy day. Now the nights is going to start drawing in and it's going to get cold soon, and it's at this point that Juliet and I put the caravan away for the winter. Now if you like us and you don't winter caravan, chances are you're going to want to look after your caravan while it's in storage. So over the last 8 years, Juliet and I have made videos showing you how to look after your caravan during the winter and preparing it. But I thought I'd put them all together in one video. Now, this video might be long and I do apologise, but it will cover quite a lot of points and it'll put everything together so you can have a point of reference. So it's going to be over a period of phases, and we're going to get on with phase one in a moment. But I'd just like to say thank you very much for watching us over the last 12 months and supporting the channel. And if you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing. Right, let's get on with phase one. Now, the first thing I like to do before I do any of my other jobs is I like to go through the cupboards, and that's what we're going to do today. And I'm also going to explain a little thing that Swift brought out a while ago to their caravans. I can't speak for the other manufacturers because, to be honest, I don't know, but it is a Swift thing that I know of, and I'll explain that in a moment. So we're going to try the cupboards first of all. Juliet's left some of her swim stuff and towels in here, so we're going to remove that. Put that in a bag that I've brought from home, soft bag. Now, I did mention earlier about the Swift thing, and that is they cut a slot in the backs of the cupboards underneath here and on the top inside to allow the air to circulate around the cupboard, so you don't need to leave the cupboard doors open during the winter months. This can sprain the springs on the catch, and it can be an expensive repair. So you can leave them closed. So I'm going to go around the caravan now and go through all the cupboards in the bedroom area, and then we'll move on to the bathroom as well. Now the next part in the bathroom is only a recommendation, it's entirely up to you, but what Juliet and I like to do is remove everything from the bathroom, toiletries wise, take them home and use them during the winter months, and then when we start the new season we have fresh new ones. And that works for us. It may work for you, but it may not. Now the next important area is obviously the food cupboards. So any cereal, even though it's in a container like this, it's going to go off anyway over the winter period. Take it home and use it up. Waste not, want not. Same with these jams and preserves. Take them home. They'll just go off. Now, from a crime prevention standpoint, I like to take anything of high value home with me so it doesn't tempt the thieves to break in and steal it. To be fair, we take all our high value goods away from the van, even if we've got only a week's gap between trips. Better safe than sorry. Store them away over the winter and they'll be ready to go for you in the new season. Well, we've got a boot full of things that we can take home and use over the winter period and start afresh in the new year. Also, we've removed things that will probably prevent rodents from making a home in your caravan over the winter months. Now, the next phase in the complete guide is actually looking after the caravan and setting the caravan up ready for the winter period. So let's take a look at that now. So the first thing I like to do is the tyres themselves. Now, I like to check them all around, make sure there's no lumps or cracks in them, because if there is, then chances are you're going to need to replace them. I have done a video on tyres. Check that they're in date as well. 5 years is the most that they recommend on tyres. And the next thing I do is I like to overinflate them slightly so it prevents flat spots when it's in storage for a long period. Now you can come back during the winter and move it backwards and forwards so it's not in the same spot, but one best way to do it is, like I say, is to slightly overinflate it. Now my caravan is 65 psi. What I like to do is put an extra 3 psi in, so I'm going to do that now. There we go. Now with that, the extra PSI, don't go mad, just do it about 3 or 4 PSI over. It will actually lose air while it's sat here over winter anyway, so that extra is just going to prevent them flat spots, like I said. So let's move on to the next thing. So staying with the wheels and tyres is the locking systems. Now these can, even though you've got the witch's hat as they call it, it can prevent water from going in, but it doesn't always. Water will find a way no matter what. So to prevent that, what I like to do is remove the lock, like so. Just pop that down on that piece of tissue there, and also the actual thread itself. Now I've made this loose, you should tighten it up with a spanner, but just for demonstration purposes I've slackened it off already. So we take the component parts, which are the thread. So what we're going to do now is take our graphite grease, which is really good stuff, been using it for a while, and just spread that on like so. Smear it onto the threads all over. And the other thing I like to do is just pop a little bit on this section here, because water can get behind this and we don't want that. And then we slot that back into the lock system itself, like so. And then we're going to refit it. Now we're going to take our spanner and tighten that up, but that's that section done. Now with the lock itself, I like to put a little bit inside the lock, which I'll force in with the key, and also cover the bearings as well, and the barrel itself, so it's all nice and smeared in grease. Taking our key, just move that backwards and forwards slightly so it gets inside, and then we're going to refit it. Not forgetting our rubber witch's hat, and that should stop that rusting over the winter period. And I do that with all the locks, including the hitch lock as well. Okay, so the next thing we're going to take a look at is the cassette toilet itself. Now the first thing I like to do, remove the cassette like so. Now we need some warm water for this, and we also need the Zaflora. What I like to do is put the caps on these quite small, so what I tend to do is I like to just put about 4 of the capfuls, even though it is quite concentrated. 4, 1 more, that's that. Now taking the warm water, not hot, because it is plastic after all, we don't want to damage it. We're going to pour that now into the cassette toilet itself. Now while we're doing our other jobs, that will sit there nicely. Just give it a bit of a swirl round. We'll just pop it underneath the van there. So that's ready to go now. So let's tackle the next thing, and this is the Caravan engineer's trick that I showed in a tinkering video a while back. So let's get on that now. Okay, so we've tackled our cassette toilet, and hopefully by the time we've allowed the disinfectant to do its job with the warm water, it should be nice and fresh. Now the next thing we'll do is we're going to tackle the cistern itself. Now this was taught to me by a Caravan engineer who was servicing my Caravan once, and I was complaining about the black bits inside the cistern when they whiz round the ball after you've used it, and he said the best thing you can use is this, and here it is. It's Milton, and what we're going to be doing is putting 3 caps of the Milton into the cistern, followed by some lukewarm water, and this is 5 litres, but that's all we're going to be putting in, just 5 litres. Even though it's an 18 litre tank, we're just going to do the bottom where the pump lies, so that we can hopefully get rid of all the crud off it and it'll do its job. Now we're going to put this in for a minimum of 2 hours, but preferably, if you can, try and do it for at least 12 or overnight. It would do a better and more effective job. So I'll just get on with that now. So the last of the Milton's gone in now, and what we're going to do is take our lukewarm water and we're going to fill it up. So that's the last of the water in. Get the keys. And like I say, we're going to leave it for a minimum of 2 hours, but a maximum of 24. And it should do its job and break down all the crud that's inside the cistern. So we're now going to move on to the water system itself, and what I like to do is clean the drains out, because you'll be surprised how much muck can actually generate and clog up inside the pipes. So taking my contraption, we're going to fit that into the drain holes of our Caravan, like so. And underneath it, we're going to put our bucket, like so. So we now need our jug, some of this elbow grease drain unblocker, and some quite hot water. Not boiling, but quite hot. So let's go inside the Caravan now and I'll show you what I do. So taking our drain unblocker, we're going to put about a third of it into the kitchen sink. Let that sit down. And taking our hot water now, with our jug, we're going to fill it up with some water now. So. Now the theory behind it is it should actually fill up to the top of the drain with the water. There we go. Now I like to put the plug in. So now we're going to repeat that in the bathroom with the sink and the shower floor tray. So I'll get on with that off camera. So we've tackled the drains now. What we're going to do is we're going to now tackle the piping system in the Caravan itself. Despite what people say, oh, flick the switch up and let it drain, and as you drive along it'll slosh around and it'll all come out. It doesn't. It's a myth, that. The fact of the matter is there'll always be some water in the system, despite what people say. Now, what I like to do, as I said, I like to use my Vlo, which is what we're going to use today. That's broke, so that's another video coming up soon. And fit the Vlo now. Now, how it works is this. The Caravan works on a pressure of 15 psi. So what I like to do is set my air pump to 14 psi, because I think it's enough, and it'll blow it all out. So we've fitted the actual flow to the input of the water, and we're going to connect this side now to the actual flow itself and the pump. Now we have a few steps to do inside, so let's go inside and I'll show you what they are now. So the first thing we are going to do is close down our drain valve so it's switched off and it's not allowing anything to escape from it. First thing I like to do is make sure all my taps are off in the kitchen, the bathroom and the shower. Fit a bowl underneath to capture the water and turn them all to the hot position. Now the next thing we're going to do after that is we're going to introduce some air into the system via the pump and the flow system. So I'm going to go outside and do that now. So we've introduced air into the system now, so I'm going to open the tap up as you would normally. Now there is still some water in the system, so I'm going to close it off and repeat this several times until I'm happy that there's no more water in this tap, and then we'll work my way around the Caravan. So we've got as much water as we possibly can out of the system by using the Vlo, and if I lift it up now, it's completely dead now. There's no water flow at all. Now I like to leave all my taps up and out in the central position so the hot and cold are open throughout the winter, and I do that on the bathroom and shower as well. Now with our Vlo, we have taken out of our Caravan about just over a third of a bowl of water. Now that water would be sitting in your pipes during the winter months and could cause damage by freezing, damaging the taps, or worse still, it could cause an issue with your boiler or burst a pipe, and they're the last things you want, and a big bill to repair them. So I highly recommend this, and also I recommend it if you're not using your Caravan even during the warmer climate. If you're going to have it laid up for a period of time, give it a quick blowout, get rid of all the water. You won't have still water stagnating in the pipes neither. So all round it's a really good tool, and I highly recommend it. So it's been a couple of hours now, and I'm ready to remove my contraption so that we can now drain this off. Do it slowly. There we go. So I'm going to leave that for quite a while now to get all the remnants of the water out of it. But look at the muck that's come out of that. That's very unpleasant. Now that would have been sitting in your drain pipes all winter, which I don't recommend. And it also cleans it out ready for next season. So coming back to the loo, we've had it soaking for quite a while, over 2 hours, and I'm happy with it. We've responsibly disposed of it, i.e. down a loo, and if you've got a Nelson point, great. But best thing to do, pour it down the loo. Now we want to put it back, but first of all what we've got to do is drain the cistern of the Milton fluid and hot water that we had in before. So I'm going to do that now. So with my Caravan, if you reach underneath here, there is a rubber pipe which comes out. It says fill. There we go. And what we're going to do is going to take our bucket and we're going to drain it off. Now make sure it's completely drained, because again we don't want this freezing in the winter. So while that finishes off, what I recommend as well is, again, remove this to somewhere like a loo, dispose of it sensibly, because it does have a bleaching agent inside it. Now the water itself, just put the bung back in, is slightly discoloured. So we know that it's done its job and it's got rid of some of the crud that's inside. The reason why we do this is the black bits that will build up, and they'll build up around the pump and they'll cause the pump to seize and eventually stop working altogether. It could burn it out, and then you're into a heavy bill then for replacing the pump, and especially at the beginning of the season it's not great when you get on site and realise it doesn't work. So I highly recommend this. So let's put that away. Now we're going to put the cassette away, ready for next season. Now don't forget to lock it up, because you don't want someone pinching it while it's on site. Now we've gone through all the water system, and you've seen how we've managed to flush out the pipes, and also we've managed to clean the draining system. But one thing that does get neglected, and that is your hose system, your blue hose. Now if, like me, you use a fully serviced pitch, then you will be using this on quite a regular basis, and despite water that we say is drinking water, it still can be a little bit mucky, and it can build up inside the pipe, including limescale as well. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a tip on how to clean this so you can look after your hose and it'll be ready for next year. So I'll get on with that now and we'll show you what we're going to use. So for cleaning out the hose, we're going to be using the Caravan Magic Multi-Wash. I've had a look at it and it is ideal for pipe work and all plastic water supplies. So if you read the instructions on the back, it is 1 part to 40 parts of water. So I'm going to use the measuring jug to get that right now. So with the concentrate from Caravan Magic, I've just covered the bottom of this and I'm going to fill it up with some warm water. Now, taking a nice clean funnel, I'll show you what we're going to do next. So taking both ends of the hose pipe, the feeder tap and also the actual connection for the water, we're going to now insert our clean funnel and slowly fill this up with water. Now some of it might spill out, so just be patient and take your time. So once we've filled up the water and it's coming towards the top of this connection here, we're going to hang them somewhere like so, so that all the water can do its job and clean out the pipes. And then in about an hour's time, we're going to come back to it, flush it out and then rinse it, and it should be good to go for next year. So now let's take back a look at our hose, and what we're going to do now is we're going to drain this off. So this may take a while, but we know that it's nice and clean inside. So I'll just get on with that and then I'll show you the results once I've finished. So that's the water we got out of the hose, and it's going to be nice and clean, ready for next season. Things I want to talk about in this phase is the battery and the gas. Now with me, I have a solar panel on the roof, and even when I have my cover on, I still leave the battery in situ. Now if it's something that's not suited to you, then I recommend you take it home, put it on a trickle charge over the winter, and it'll keep it nice and topped up and it'll be ready to go in the new season. With the gas, generally my gas bottle, with it being a safe fill, I know how much is in it, and I know for a fact at this moment in time that it's almost empty. So I've decided that I'm going to remove that from the gas locker and take it home. And the final thing is, if we've got the consumer unit on, switch it off, otherwise it'll deaden the battery. Well folks, we come to the final phase. And there's a few tips in this, but before I share the tips with you, I just wanted to have a chat about this. Now, in a moment, I'm going to get all my kit out and I'm going to clean the caravan. And I'm sure some of you are thinking, why is he cleaning his caravan when it's going to go away into storage? Well, the simple answer is, for me personally, I have a cover. And what I like to do is clean the caravan first, get it dried off, and then put the cover on ready for winter. Now, there's another reason why I would recommend you clean it before you put it into storage, and it's quite simple really. It's probably a bit mucky at this moment in time, and it's going to get even more mucky over the winter period with whatever elements the weather throws at it. So when you come to open it up for the next season, it's going to be 2 or 3 times harder to actually clean it to get it ready for your season. Now this is an example. This picture here is of a caravan on my storage yard, and it's about the same age as mine, and it's not been cleaned for ages. Now if they don't bother cleaning it before they put it away, when they come back to it in March, say, or April, depending on when they start caravanning, it's going to be a nightmare to get clean. So if you clean it beforehand, you put it away, give it a waxing as well, or a polish, depending on what suits you, it'll be a lot easier in the new season to get it ready. So I'm going to pop off now and I'm going to clean the caravan, and I'll come back to you in a minute. Now coming outside, the first thing I would recommend is this. Your caravan is going to be probably sat in your storage yard for between 4 and 5 months, depending on when you start your season. And during that time we're going to get a lot of wind, rain and the elements to them. And so much so that I highly recommend that you chock your wheels so they don't move, depending on which side, obviously the actual surface slopes, and then release the handbrake. It's easier said than done. The reason for this, if you don't, potentially the brakes could seize on over the winter, and you could end up with a little bit of a bill to pay an engineer to come and free them off and clean them. Okay, so we've sorted out the handbrake and the brakes, and we've chocked the wheels. We've still got this part of the caravan exposed. Now, whether you have a caravan cover or not, I recommend you buy yourself a hitch cover, preferably one that goes to the back here like that and covers it completely. Now, you might be thinking, well, why do I need to cover it up? I don't bother normally. Well, you might not, but it's going to get a lot of bad weather thrown at it over the months it's in storage. and potentially it could seize or rust up, and it's going to cost you quite a lot with a caravan engineer to repair it all and get it in working order, ready for the start of the season. So for the sake of a few quid, get yourself a hitch cover. Now, whether a cover is not your thing or it's not in the budget for this season, I would highly recommend, however, you get yourself some tyre covers, wheel covers. They will protect the tyres throughout the winter. You'll be surprised, even UV damage can be caused in the winter months as well. Keep them nice and protected and they'll be good for next year. Okay, so this next one is your fridge and freezer. Once you've given it a really good clean and it's thoroughly dried out, there's no reason why you can't close it up and leave it closed until you come to use it again. If it's dry and clean inside, it won't build up mould and it will be fresh as a daisy when you come to use it in the next season. After all, when you walk around the second-hand vans in caravan dealers, you don't see them with the fridge doors open, so there's no reason why you should neither. Now this next item is a moisture capture or a moisture absorber, and this one has a little picture of a caravan on it. Now there's been lots of videos on this subject over the years. Do they work? No they don't. Yes they do. And I'll be honest with you, I sit somewhere in between. I think they do some form of job, but what it is I really don't know. And for the sake of 79p each from Home Bargains, I get a couple of these, stick them in the caravan, and I monitor them throughout this winter season and just check on them. And if they're full, I just replace them with another cheap one. Like I say, for 79p each, what's not to lose? Okay, so to do this little scent bag, it's quite simple really. You need a little gauze bag, preferably one with a drawstring like so. Let's just undo it again. And some of these in-wash scent booster things. Now, these are Lenore, there are others. Just choose the one that suits your sense of smell. I quite like this one. So just shake out into the top. Oop, a bit too much. Just need about half a capful really. Be careful, don't get them all over the place. Says Phil, who gets them all over the place. So we've got a few left of escape, so we'll quickly put those in. Come on. Move that over there. Pull the drawstring bag tight and then hang it up somewhere. We hang ours off the light and it does a good job. And the scent will last quite a while. Every so often just replace it and it'll keep the van smelling fresh and nice. So that's going to keep our van smelling fresh over the winter period. I'll probably pop down every 2 weeks to check on the van to make sure everything's okay. And hopefully when I enter, I'll be greeted by that nice smell. Now, with the caravan itself, like I say, we've done the inside now. Now, some people say blinds up, and some people say blinds down and nothing, and some people say curtains. Well, I've got a cover on, but what I say is curtains. And the reason why I say curtains is this. It allows the air to circulate round them and it prevents mould growing on the back of the curtains. And also, if you use your blinds, depending on what type of blinds you've got, you can sprain the spring over a period of time, which could cost you more money in the long run. So my tip is curtains, but not blinds. So with your upholstery, I have in the past, I will admit, say that I've lift this up and move this and do that and allow the air to circulate. Now you can do this. There's no rules to say that you don't. Personally, over the last few years, I've noticed that it makes no difference, so I always leave them in situ. What I will do is take these cushions home because Juliet wants to wash the covers anyway, so they'll go home, but the rest of it will remain as it is. Okay, so the van is now nice and clean inside and out. We've done all our checks and everything's completed. What I would highly recommend you do is come and visit the van every 2 weeks and check on it. Come inside, have a good look round and check that there's no evidence of little mices, because if they get in, they will cause a hell of a lot of damage whilst it's in situ, and the insurance companies will not pay out for rodent damage. So if you watch our video, which is a link up there, it shows you how to prevent this, but still come and check it every 2 weeks. Well folks, I hope you found this video helpful. With a little bit of time and effort, you can prepare your caravan and protect it from the elements during the winter months, so it's ready to go in the new season. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you'll join us again real soon, but in the meantime, bye for now.